I'm very heavily involved in Our Lady of Mercy High School, and it's all about the education. It happens to be education for women. I'm not a Mercy girl. I didn't grow up in this area. I didn't get a chance to go to Mercy High School, but my daughter did, and it was a fabulous place for her. It was just the right place for her, and as a result of that, I was on a parents' committee, then on the Board of Trustees, then president of the Board of Trustees, and was president of the Board of Trustees when Mercy High School underwent their last capital campaign and built on this big addition, $7 million addition on the back, new gymnasium, new media center, new space. That was another opportunity for me to learn because I knew nothing about construction, absolutely nothing. It's amazing what you can learn when you need to. And so that's a way for me to take some of my business expertise and my personal expertise and translate that into community involvement and helping bring other people along. I have been a lifelong learner, and my entire background of my life is all about education. When I was a young person, I always wanted to be a teacher. I thought that was my calling. I thought that was where my gifts were. And so that's in fact what I got my training in. I'm a teacher by training. That's my background. I actually taught school because that's how much I believe in education and learning. And through a series of events, I wound up not staying in teaching. I went and lived overseas for a while, which is a different kind of learning. You go and learn about a culture. But when I came back, there were no teaching jobs. So I went into business. And at a point in time down the road, I eventually came to one of those you have to make a choice sort of things. But business worked out well for me, and I worked in a business where learning was important. I knew nothing about electronic components, but I worked in a business where I was selling products into which electronic components were placed. So I initially worked in the purchasing department, and then it was important to learn what is a power supply, what is a transformer, how is shrink tubing made, etc. So you go, you learn. You find somebody in a factory, show me this, tell me what it does, help me learn about this. I worked in that for a little while, and then within the same company, I then got moved into the sales department. Now I know things at the component level. I don't know things at the system level. So now I need to learn about the system level. You go to an engineer, you say, tell me how these things fit together because I don't know this. It's the quest, the continuing quest for knowledge that I think is so important. People are courageous in a lot of different ways that they don't think about. Little acts of courage. And I think if people recognized that in themselves, they would be more proud of some of the small things that they do that are really courageous, but they don't have their head wrapped around it that way. They don't think about it that way. For example, I think it was courageous of me very early on in my business when we lost our single largest revenue stream. They decided they were no longer going to use us as their outsourced field sales company. And I thought, oh my goodness, or something close to that, and said, how will we survive? But you dig down deep and you consult with your advisors, you consult with your accountant, your lawyer, your this, that, and you figure out a plan where everybody takes a cut in pay, you don't want to let anybody go, can we hang on? And that I think is an act of courage to continue, to figure out a way to make it work so you can stay in business.